Oh, I've got to get my throat fixed. This is driving me insane. Last night was terrible. And it's like 52 degrees in this house, so it's
Is it
super cold today.
Still swelling up?
Yeah. It's staying the same, but then when I sleep and I put any pressure on it or I move or anything like that, it agitates it, and so it gets a little bit worse.
That's the
But
weirdest thing.
it's stuck in the mode. We thought the medication change would help, but that has not helped at all.
Have
And I
you
got
tried
another
an
week-
anti-inflammatory to see if that helps?
Well, he wants me just to get the MRI, but that's like 2 weeks away.
Inexpensive.
Yeah, I know. He sucks.
You know what's crazy? So I had MRI done for my shoulder surgery, and it was the highest bill that I had. It was higher than the surgeon,
Wow.
higher than the anesthesiologist.
Good Lord.
And of course, there was no room stay because it was just in and out kind of thing. Whole thing took 30 minutes to do.
Yeah.
But it's like $13,000 for like an MRI. That's what they billed for, because they had to inject lidocaine in there and blah blah blah. Because there's a doctor that comes in, he injects lidocaine inside your shoulder so they can see the joints better in the MRI,
He
which they
injected
don't
nothing
have to
in my
do.
neck.
And it's not painful or anything. I mean, it's a little painful, but it's not like super bad or anything.
I'll shove that needle in places that he didn't know existed.
What scared me was the guy came in there and he had a really thick accent from somewhere on the continent of Africa.
Yeah, so did the lady who helped did my yeah.
And so I look at him, he goes, he has no bedside manner whatsoever at all. It's like, you're lucky we just don't hit you in the head with a rock and then do this. And I said, hey, how's your hands? He goes, fine. I'm like, yeah, but are they steady? He goes, steady? I'm like, yeah, let me see them. He goes, he holds them out. I'm like, wait, which one are you doing it with, the right or the left? Just joking around. He had no humor.
Yeah.
He had no idea. I was like, oh, you're good. Your hands. And the nurse next to him she was an older gal, super sweet, and she was laughing but trying to hide it from the guy because she understood I was just goofing off. And the guy's like looking at me like, seriously, like, is there something wrong with my hands?
My anesthesiologist came in and she introduced herself. I'm like on the bed right before they're ready to knock me out and do all that. And there's just two nurses that are there that are part of the surgery team, and she's the anesthesiologist called me, and she's like heavy, deep South African style accent kind of thing. And she's arguing with somebody on the phone hanging over the bed, like in front of me. And the person she's arguing with is discussing whether or not she's qualified to do her job. and she's doing it as a joke. Like the whole thing is just like a big spoof.
Yeah.
And the two other nurses were just like dying laughing or whatever, because I'm just sitting there and I really didn't care, because if I die, oh, thank you God, because it'll be to sleep on a hospital bed.
Yeah.
They'll sell my organs and somebody might live, somebody might give me, I don't know.
You'll be dead.
But
You
I'm
don't care.
done.
Yeah,
I'm
you won't care.
done
You'll
with
be dead.
all of this. And so I really didn't care, but then they just like, yeah, she does that to everybody. She's messing around kind of thing.
The most painless way you could go.
Yeah, absolutely. That is probably the
Drug
most.
overdose on operating table is the best
that's,
way.
Yeah, that's way easier than falling asleep in the freezing cold or something, I imagine. So
My anesthesiologist came in and he was talking about, it's like, we have to put a blunted needle into the nerve of your neck. So we can't use a sharp needle because we don't want to tear that nerve and cause nerve damage. We have to use a blunted needle. I looked at him, I was like, that sounds painful. He goes, yeah, it is. He said, but you won't remember it. I was like, well, he's like, yeah, you're probably gonna scream a lot. He said, but you won't remember
you're
doing
not
it.
going to be alive to do so.
He goes, have you ever had surgery before? I said, no, it's my first. He goes, oh, good. It's good to try new things. He had a sense
I
of
can
humor.
get on board
That's the
with
guy.
that.
It
Yes.
must be an anesthesiologist thing. They
I
must have like
mean-
some wicked humor.
They sit there and suck on their gas all day. he knew what he was doing. I mean, like,
I was wondering what that red line around his face was. Yeah.
Well, the Japanese doctor who did my eyes, that was an absolute. I mean, it was a surgery. It was the fastest surgery in my life. It was like 30 seconds of work per eyeball. But he had like he was sort of like, why are you talking to me? Like, why are you? And I'm just trying to ask him like a simple question. He's like, those are nurse things. Like, don't waste my
bother
time,
me with
though,
that
man.
peasant question.
Yes, exactly. Because I don't think people actually. I think they just take the doctor and bow and walk out. And he just wasn't having it. He was just like, and he spoke very little broken English. But I had translators, and all that stuff too. But he wasn't having it. He was like, "You're wasting my time. Go away, white boy."
I'm going to do him wrong on purpose.
I've got my $7,000 from you. You've had your 27 seconds of surgery. Go away. The best ever. I want to show you this video though, because this is something that the girls had sent me, and I'll show it to you, and then. And I'll set it up. I hope that this doesn't. There we go. This is something that the girls had sent me, and I'll show it to you, and then. And I'll set it up. I hope that this doesn't. Blair. I'll just give you the full feel of it. This happened locally.
That poor thing.
This
She
dude-
just lost 3 years of her life.
She was just chilling in a nice quiet. The lady said it to me. This is her gym that she
That was
goes
just a
to.
little baby deer.
Yeah. It was kind of a, there's one more, I'll have another video that I'll show you.
It just ran through freaking glass.
What it did was it ran past here, and next door is a restaurant. And the owner of the restaurant was just sitting out on the front bench, just relaxing. And the deer saw him and turned around and darted this way.
Oh.
This glass here is covered. It's got a window on it. So the other one I'm assuming is not.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. But he went right through it. I mean, he took him nothing to go through it.
Luckily for him, that is tempered glass.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's like an easy shattered glass. But
Well, it wasn't easy, but it didn't cut him though.
No, it split his head open.
Well, that was probably just from the force. 'Cause it's really hard to break tempered glass.
There's an exterior video, and I don't have that one. There's an exterior video that's like right outside here. His antler goes flying across that video when he comes through. One of his spikes just broke off. And then,
Did they catch him or what?
well, so yes, in a way. They didn't have any means. It was sort of like a panic mode thing.
Oh,
so
so
they
he
kept-
wasn't really young. He's close to
I
adult
guess he was
age.
a little bit bigger. I only remember them carrying him out. What happened was
I mean, he's probably about.
all they could find on hand real quick
50
was
pounds.
an extension cord. So they had this big extension cord. I thought, okay, we could maybe
Huh.
just kind of wrap him a
They
little
should
bit
have
with
just
this.
picked him up.
Well, they do. What this room in here with all these mirrors, there's a section that has weights stacked on, like dumbbells just stacked on the weights. He got on those. One of these three gentlemen here is the restaurant owner. It might be this guy right here. I don't know.
That deer is lucky he's not on somebody's plate.
Well, I'm sure he is by now.
He's like, you know what? All this work, let's
maybe,
just slit his
yeah.
throat, throw him in the back of my truck, and call it good.
That's pretty much the life of it.
I mean,
And then these two guys were like, "What is that? A moose? Is that an elephant?" But the girls were making fun of these two guys like crazy, like because they didn't do nothing, and they're like, "Our husbands are." In
I
the
don't
ring,"
understand
and
this
it's
generation's hairstyle.
like, I don't even
It,
care.
it's kind of strange. You know, like Dumb and Dumber, where he puts the bowl on his head and they cut around the bowl.
Oh yeah, and he's
I see that. Like I see people with that hairstyle. I'm like,
Maybe they're poor.
is it a fashion
It
statement?
used to be a poor people's haircut.
If
Maybe
you're
it's
poor,
going
you just
back.
shave your head.
That was a poor people's haircut. Put the bowl on the head, and the mom just trimmed around.
Yeah, I
That was
remember
it.
that.
Yeah,
But I mean, you didn't do it all the way around your head.
yeah, you would kind of just go through. Yeah.
I mean, we at
I
least covered
don't-
our ears. I don't either. This generation's weird.
But she said that it got on those dumbbell racks and was just running across those. It was in total panic mode. And she's like, we figured it was going to snap a leg, just break.
Say, I'm
down
surprised he
there.
didn't break his legs.
There was blood all over the mirrors. She said it was pushing up against those and just running. And she said just a streak of blood all the way down to the area in that room in there. And then it came out. But it's just hilarious because that poor lady just sitting and chilling, nice, quiet. There's three people, three families, a couple people here and there in the building, and a lot of people. Bagoo. That one of the guys, like I
scared the
said,
crap
was
out of
the
you.
owner of the restaurant. And he came running over and helped them out with it. But
I watched a deer video where it crashed through somebody's place of business. I don't know what it was. Went through the glass, and then the guy was by himself, I think, because he was the only one in the video. And he's just sitting there staring at it like, I don't know what to do. And the deer is like looking around like it doesn't know what to do. It broke through 2 more panes of glass.
wow,
It broke in through the door glass, jumped out the window glass, and then jumped back into that window glass, and then ran back out the door glass.
absolute panic.
Yeah, it had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
So those guys just catching it and tying it up was probably the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
Because they would have just ran through every
I
single
mean,
piece
he's
of
not
glass.
going to break any of those mirrors. There's those flex mirrors, but
Yeah, those things.
there's a little children's center in there. It's like a little daycare thing, and so like a couple of the people in there had their kids in that area. And if you jump that little door, because it's normally like one of those little mailroom half doors, that's what everyone I've ever seen is that. So you can kind of see your kid. I imagine him just like flying over that door.
Oh, yeah.
Bambi. Pow, pow. Kicking people.
Watch
into
the
it.
guy let his kid feed a buck
Yes, you did.
and freaking
In the middle of the street, right in front of his house.
It's like, you're an idiot, sir.
That's what a lot of the comments were too. And I was
You're
like,
such an idiot.
I was like, you know what?
I'll say he's ignorant. I mean, that's somebody who's never hunted in their
There
life.
you go. That's
and they know nothing about livestock.
Yeah.
It's like people who think they can just go cow tipping. You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what it takes to shove a cow over, even in their sleep.
It's all the people whose dogs I met, male dogs who were allowed to roam free in this whole state, that were either intact or not. And I would walk my dog, and I would come across every one of them because they would all try my dog. Arkham smashed every one of them into the ground. Killed. But not, in this incident, he took 2 on at one time while on a leash.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? Is this insanity? What is going on here? Like I'm just walking my dog in my own neighborhood, and these 2 dogs just come out and they challenge him. Like his tail was always wagging, like, hey, cool. I don't know if it's because he was like, I'm going to bite these people or if I'm going to play with these dogs. I don't know if that's what it was. But any dog will even do it. Any animal will just be dumb if it gets scared or if it freaks out.
You just never know.
But a deer will spook at any sound, at any weird flash or movement.
You could just smell funny, and the deer's just gonna ram you.
If it had clipped that kid's jaw, if it had clipped that kid's neck,
his eyeballs or anything like
anything.
that.
It would have gone right through like nothing, and the dad would not be able to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also seen a guy grab a buck by his antlers. It was so funny. They were getting prepared to go hunt, and a buck walked up to him and another guy, and they're filming. Can you get this? This is crazy.
People have been feeding him,
and he's coming up to him, and he's like, and the deer starts huffing, and like he's gonna ram him, and the guy just grabs his antlers and just takes him to the ground and just starts laughing. It's like, should we just kill him now or let him go?
We've taught him a valuable lesson. I don't think we'll see him here again.
They ended up just letting him go, letting him run back into the woods. But
there was that
they were there to hunt. I mean, you could have just saved yourself a lot of work right there. But
who was that guy that kept trying to ride moose? Was he
did.
in Alaska? Yeah, he would jump on their backs and ride. It was in Canada, I thought.
He was in Canada, and was he?
The moose would be like in his front yard.
No, it was a GI in Alaska.
Was it?
Yeah, it was an Army guy in Alaska.
I remember seeing those videos would pop up, and
I watched the video. He jumped on the moose's back while it was swimming.
Right on. Oh no! See, this one he was in his yard.
Oh no, I didn't see that one.
He crept up behind it.
You guys are in a boat on a lake, and I think it was Chino Lake, if I'm not mistaken, which I probably am. And the moose is swimming, and he jumps off the boat and lands on top of the moose and rides it as it swam. And he rode it for a good ways, and then he jumped off and went back to the boat. But it went online, and then they found him. They prosecuted him for messing with wildlife.
Man captured on video jumping bench and violently attack. I don't even know what. Yeah, this would take hours to find.
That's just a good time right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to find it on YouTube probably.
Yeah, well, I imagine these would go to that point, but
yeah, there's that lake one right there.
Let's see if
he just jumps on the moose and rides it.
Oh, it's just an image of it. I don't have the. Yeah, we'd have to go through YouTube to find it. I might put a few in for fun down the road.
Yeah, but moral of the story: don't play with wild animals.
Don't play with wild animals.
No, you could eat them. Don't play with them.
Yeah, they're not.
Don't play with your food.
You can nurture your food and strengthen your food by feeding it, getting it back up to, if it's sick or whatever, injured, get it back up to running. I know people that they'll take deer in, get it strong again, and send it back out in the wild.
That's a terrible idea.
And some hunter will find it and eat it one day or not. It's just something that they do.
Yeah, it's always.
As long as it's not fish.
Like, if I was a hunter and a deer just walks up to me because it's used to being fed by people, you almost have to shoot it.
No, that's a whole different story.
It's like, oh man, you've been fed by you're somebody's pet, aren't you?
You're talking about an injured orphan type thing, yeah. Versus I've seen Hannah Barron raise a deer a couple of times that they found orphan. She probably killed the mother. I was like, oh crap! So she took the deer in and all that. And so I'd have to ask her.
Shot the doe, didn't realize it had a freaking baby on the
side. She won't ever answer my calls. So, this is the flavor of the week. Last weekend,
I wasn't very hungry, so I just shot the baby instead.
Last Sunday, this happened, and of course, everybody's talking about it now and all that. But I wanted to go over this. I know you hadn't seen it. I'm gonna make sure I have this down low because it's not worth. This is a church in Minnesota, as everybody knows.
That is an elaborate church.
It's very detailed. Yeah, it's
for a Baptist church. It's very unusual.
My understanding it was a Baptist church, but I could be wrong on that. I remember hearing that it was an organization that is a known organization, and I don't care about the organization. I don't care about that whole situation. I want to talk about him, the pastor, and I want to talk about the congregation.
He looks sharp in that suit.
They're mad at him, I think, because he works for ICE or something to some nature in that area. I don't care. this is kind of just an interesting situation to me because this is going to happen more often. Like I say, things are going to,
My finger points.
things are going to escalate. I mean, you think about it, the grandmas should be just terrorizing these people. The grandmas are normally the ones that would be. Imagine if you did this at Joyce Johnson's in the church.
Man.
Joyce is going to tear you up.
I was going to say, there's a few places that anywhere in the Midwest, you're going to probably be pretty safe, or, West Coast.
Yeah.
But in the South or the
that's
East.
what I want to talk about. Yeah.
You do that in a church in New York, you're going to go out and you're going to they're going to beat the pulp out of you.
Well, one, they're never going to do this in a mosque. They'll never ever do this into a Muslim church. There's just not a way it would happen. Because I don't even think they'd ever get through the front door. And if they did, they'd never get out of it.
But they're protesting ICE, so they wouldn't
just
probably go
doing
to
a
a Muslim
big-
church because I don't think there's probably any Muslims waiting to
They're
join ICE.
they're protesting the whole Somali thing, the whole situation. This is a paid for group. It's an organization.
Isn't BLM mixed in here?
No, I don't believe. I mean, the lady who's in charge
Because
of
they're saying
it
don't
is-
shoot, hands up, don't shoot, or whatever.
The lady who's in charge of this, who claims to be a reverend, of course, is. I think she did work for BLM. Like I said, I don't care about these people at all. I don't.
Right.
It's not.
It's just what his reaction was.
Him and then his congregation, and kind of thinking about the differences between this happening in Minnesota and here. First off, with you and me,
Yeah, what would you have done if you were the pastor?
well, if I'm in the congregation, okay. First off, if I'm in the congregation, I'm going to start with that because that would be where I would be. My gun would be chambered because I don't know what's coming in. You don't know. Like you can hear yelling and screaming, but you don't know what's happening. You don't know who's violent. My gun's just chambered in my hand. It's always with me. It's just chambered in. It's in my hip.
Have it pointed at him, or
No. You don't ever point a gun. You don't ever. I don't
Okay.
until I hear a shot, until I see a gun, something like that. That kind of a deal. But the main thing is, and all I'm doing is just checking. Like I said, just checking that I have a round chamber because I don't ever chamber my rounds.
Really?
I do not. No, I've worked with kids for too long. I just don't.
Just don't let them play with your gun. You'd be fine.
Well, I just sometimes I'm like, yeah, sure, just don't point it at anybody, kids. But
I wonder if it's loaded.
I'm thinking of that little tiny church that's just down the road that I pretend to go to on Sundays. It's got about 15 amazing people in it. It's a tiny congregation. The preacher is a very educated gentleman in his mid-70s, maybe late 70s. And if that had occurred in his church, just with those 15 people there, those people would have been terrified. Because that is a spirit-filled, tongue-speaking church. Like they don't hold back. And there's only one entrance that's the main area for them to have come in, so that would have been easy to block. They would have just kind of had a couple people there. They would have circled hands, or they would have just put their hands out and just come, and they would have just started praying. And these guys would not have been able to tolerate it. One, it would have freaked them out and scared them.
Well, I mean, there's some people in that congregation praying. I mean, you can see ladies holding their hands out and all that. But the problem is the noise that they're making cancels out any opportunity to communicate with them.
Correct. Yeah, there's no communication. And that was something I used. You don't want to talk to them? He's like, well, they're not here to communicate. This isn't something that, there's nobody talking. They're protesting inside of a church. What laws is he going to
During
pass?
service.
What laws is he going to pass or change in there?
Yeah.
What laws do a church have?
Yeah,
He's not Catholic.
it was solely based on just to make a disruption. They weren't trying to win any hearts or minds over to their cause. They were just trying to make a disruption, just to cause pain and panic. But the thing of it is if another group is inspired to do the same thing, and another church is prepared for it, something bad could really happen. Because we have pastors who get shot in America by crazies.
Yep.
A lot of churches have armed congregants.
Yep.
So a church in, was that Minnesota?
It's Minnesota.
If a church in Minnesota sees it, knows about it, is prepared for it, and then that group tries something, as soon as they lay a hand on them, because they're going to block the door, right? Your congregation is going, you're going to have board members, you're going to have trustees, deacons, ushers that are ready. They're going to block a door. And when they try to push past, or if they do try to push past, now you're fair game for going out in a body bag. Is that how you want to do it? I mean, who's at fault now?
No. My thing is, I mean, if you're coming from my point of view,
it's going to be dangerous.
It is
coming in the
stupid.
future.
And the thing is
So
these
it's
people,
a dumb game to play.
These people don't realize that they're being sent in hopes that they are shot and killed, because then they could raise up more and there's more of a cause. And they don't realize when they go in there that the worst thing that happens to you is what these people that are paying you to be there for want, because then it brings in more attention, more whatever. But like we were talking about earlier, as the preacher, as the pastor, I pull my congregation up. We're all at the front, and we just start praying right there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of where they can be behind us and screaming wherever they want to, and it's the thing is like, do you have a plan for this? Because this is a new thing. Our schools never had plans for shooters, never.
Yeah.
2000 range, they started saying, "Hey, we have to come up with plans for people coming in, locking these schools down." My school alone does not have the capability in certain areas, so they had to add all new doors. They had to add all new systems to lock it with and all that kind of thing, because they just didn't have that. It wasn't a concept. This could be the future of churches here. I personally don't see anything happening to these people past a wrist slap. There was dudes that were being released in Minnesota like crazy that have horrific charges against them.
I think that they will bring up charges just
Yeah,
so they don't, so it doesn't spread.
And they'll
so
last,
they don't keep doing it.
The charges will last 4 months, 3 months, like those other people who are doing horrendous things to children that are being released.
Yeah.
So they're like, say that's a corrupt place. That's like, might as well be in Portland. But anyway, that's the thing. Do pastors now have to come up with a concept of, hey,
So
what do we
is
do
it?
when-
What should be the Christian mindset for how to deal with something like that? Do you think?
honestly, I think, just
What would the
getting
disciples
together,
tell them to do?
praying would be the number one thing, unless there's an actual dangerous type of threat. You want to get your congregation out, but you don't know what's out in the street. You don't know what's out there anyway, so you have to kind of get that part. They can't call the police because their police won't come. They're grossly understaffed. Grossly, because of all the stuff that went on and went down. A lot of their officers left. They didn't they defunded the police. They did not replace them or whatnot, that kind of a thing. So the police aren't coming because they're not going to be allowed to go. Now in Alabama, we wouldn't have to worry about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the South, you go, Florida, there's a lot of stories coming out of Florida right now that are horrific. Horrific. But down here, it's like, hey, you just call the cops. We've got protesters inside the building. The cops here will come in. They'll take them out. In the South, that's fine. These
Yeah.
Minnesotans are on their own.
Well, I mean, there's not a lot of people with that mindset, anyways, to want to do that to a church
It's
in
gonna
the South.
grow. They hate. You just saw them. They're now beating anybody they think of as a conservative on the sides of the roads.
Yeah, but they only do it in places that have left wing governments.
There you go. Because that's
So
where they can get
that's
away
why
with
they're not going to come to conservative townships and pull that kind of stuff.
Right.
They're not going to.
it. Again,
You
I'm
got
not
that one
worried
sheriff
about.
in Florida who'd be like, "Yeah, did you shoot him? Why not?" He's like, you got guns for a reason.
I mean, we'll
This is
call the
Polk
sheriff and be like,
Polk
"We're-
County, Florida.
You want us to help? Yeah,
Come
well,
on in.
Yeah.
If you want to die.
Well, that was like, I remember them saying, well, why don't they just rob? Why do they come to New York, rob all these stores, and go back to Florida? Why don't they just rob the stores in Florida? And they're like, because they'll be prosecuted, stupid.
Yeah.
And she didn't. She's like, oh, duh.
But again, I mean,
Is this a trend that's going to be popping up? I think so.
that will depend on what the courts do,
Mm-hmm.
because they prosecuted heavily on the January 6th thing because they don't ever want that to happen again. You know, the January 6th rioters in D.C., which was all, I get a false flag, but still, they're going to make an example of anybody they can.
That to me was not a legal, ethical thing. To give a grandma who's sitting in a bench across the street from the whole situation 14 months in jail, that's not legal. Nothing there was legal.
Oh, yeah. I'm just
That
saying.
was all set to
if-
put fear in people.
If they do the same thing where they prosecute early, it'll nip it in the bud. But if they don't want to nip it in the bud, they won't prosecute anybody.
Yeah.
Everybody go free. And then they'll keep on going. But
That's what I'm saying.
the cool thing is,
Minnesota
though,
won't see it.
is that, which is so odd, if they only protested that church because the guy had an affiliation with ICE,
That's how they chose it, I'm assuming.
then it's probably not going to be that widespread, because I could doubt that there's that many churchgoers
Well,
who
you
are
heard them, though.
affiliated with
You're
ICE.
all rich and wealthy. Why aren't you out standing with your Somali brothers? That's what that idiot was screaming. So-
Right, I get that. But again, they're there protesting whoever it was that's affiliated with ICE in some way, from what I hear.
No, that was just the pastor was like, he worked for them in some way. Yeah.
But is that why they chose that church?
The lady, I believe, stated that was one of the things.
Yeah.
But I just didn't care to look into any of it because
The other thing
nothing's going to come of it.
is it's really nice for an American to experience any kind of persecution.
Absolutely.
Because we don't.
Absolutely.
I mean, we would experience more persecution if we had the courage enough to speak the truth, but we seldom do.
Yeah.
We revert back to the turn the other cheek. I'm saved by grace. I'm not going to push my way onto the people. Jesus loves the sinner and hates the sin, that kind of thing. And we never tell anybody the truth. That you're living in sin.
I feel like that was a
Your
time.
end is near. And
I feel like that was a time for the congregation to get loud in prayer.
I mean, I really would be, it depends, because I have a very aggressive personality. So I really don't think I would have helped that situation any.
No, there's no way.
Because I got kids.
There's kids in the audience crying.
The Papa Bear
parents
would
are
have come out.
The parents are holding the kids, and that's what they want. They want the escalation, that fight, and that kind of thing.
But I think if I walked my wife and kids out of the church and one of them got in their face, it would have been over. It would have been a bloodbath.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I wouldn't put up with that.
No, and it would just been instinct, at that point, not premeditated or anything.
No,
but,
you're not going to threaten.
If they let me and my
kids.
family out, just fine. I would be fine with having my wife and kids get in the car, and then I go back in.
Yeah, they were following them back to their cars,
and I'd be willing to lay hands on people and pray for them. It's just like, hey, if I had to cast out evil spirits, I'm just gonna get freaky.
That's
with
what
it.
I'm thinking. Like that to me, like
But I can't do it with my wife and kids.
you imagine that. Oh, yeah, you're thinking about your kids too much, kind of in the concept.
Yeah.
The idea behind that.
That's why you see nothing but old people in that church at that time, because everybody else left.
It's
They had to protect their kids and their wives, and the elderly, like, I got nothing to die. I got nothing to live
the
for.
old churches that we grew up in. That would have never, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I'm just thinking of some of the old Holy Roller churches. And
Hippies used to protest churches, but they usually just stayed outside.
They would do outside, I do believe. Correct.
Biker gangs used to protest churches whenever the churches started interfering with their prostitution and gambling and drug running and all that. There was a lot of outreach churches that would help get prostitutes off the streets, help get kids off drugs and things like that. And
imagine those days.
The Hells Angels, or I think the Mongoose, or the Mongrels, they would go into a Sunday meeting and take up a whole pew and just run amok. And they'd put their feet up on the back of the pews, and they would make fun of people, light up cigarettes, and brandish weapons and stuff like that. And everyone was too scared to do anything. And they called the cops and all that stuff. But all they could do is just, when the cops show up, say, get out, and they all leave.
Yeah.
But at that time, you've already intimidated a whole bunch of people, because, they are killers.
Yeah.
That's just what they are.
I guess that's when you have to have the cops on site.
So it's not new. It's just the difference is biker gangs will kill you, and these guys are just a bunch of pansies.
Yeah, they are. They're all weak.
They're not going to do anything.
No.
And that's the other bad thing about it, because you don't really feel threatened by them, so you don't really have cause for violence.
Well, see, they want that. They're wanting to get you to swing. They're wanting to get you
right. They want to annoy you.
Like, it's understandable. I've seen them scream at little kids just because they're psychotic and irate. Right, that's the one time when I would interfere and make that person. But what would be a good tactic
to use against that? Against somebody who's just trying to provoke you.
You need to bring
verbally.
bodies together. So the Japanese have this deal. Their police officers don't carry guns. I don't even know if they carry batons or anything like that. They might. They have. I think they have.
I couldn't imagine violent crime's too high in Japan.
It's hidden and kept quiet. It's a little bit. It's not bad. When let's say there's like just a drunk person who's just being dumb or outrageous or whatever, and it's a little bit more than a cop can handle or two. And I've seen this twice when I was there. They'll surround the person. They'll have like 15 cops, 10 cops, whatever law enforcement people. Well, 7 or 8. 15 is a bit much, but they'll just circle the person, and the person will move one way, and they'll just kind of make a bubble to where they just move around or whatever, and they kind of just wear him down, talking to him, that kind of a deal or whatever. Me personally, I ain't got time for that. I don't have time for that. Yeah. But
you're at the bare minimum, you're getting tased.
Again, that was a pretty decent sized congregation until people had left. Circling those people, and just a circle of absolute prayer. Spiritual prayer. Those people are going to change their minds, and God, the Holy Spirit may fall depending on that church and the congregation.
You could have a Jonah moment.
Yeah, if you have a real solid congregation that has a spirit, like that's what I'm saying. That little church down the road on the way, you ain't doing that in there. The Lord's coming.
Yeah.
Lord's already
So,
there.
What if they circle them and then the people want to leave or try to
You
leave?
can let them go. That's
Yeah,
fine.
just let them walk through.
That means that you've won.
Yeah.
If they're leaving, that's fine, but you give them the exit. You go, but it's this way.
Yeah, I sound more the mindset of getting everybody in the front, linking arms, and just walking straight and pushing the people out, basically. Don't touch them, but don't let them touch you either.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Then you got conflict. Now you've got women who are face to face with screaming yellow psychopaths. And
Yeah, let them touch one. Let's see how good that
now
looks.
you got a big battle. Yeah, I mean,
You can
there's
pray and
again,
walk.
There's
You're
a million.
It's called
yeah.
a Jericho walk. That's what we
Yeah.
do around here. It's in our Bible. It's part of our
that's
religion.
True. It's part of our stuff.
We just read out of trumpets.
Dude, I'm telling you, trumpets work.
Oh, dude.
They're used so many
you
times.
can't yell over a trumpet.
All right, all the churches in the world of America and around the world need to stock up on trumpets.
We don't really have trumpets in church anymore.
We used to have the Jericho's horns and a couple of
Yeah, the
churches that we've been
shofars.
in, the shofars and Jericho horns.
Which
yeah.
sound terrible.
Yeah, they're really crappy.
It
I think
sounds
it's because
great,
people don't know how to blow them properly and they're not properly made. They're just cheap, generic crap that they
Yeah,
found.
maybe. I don't
It's
know.
like buying a Chinese knockoff of one.
Yeah.
But a ram's horn, a good ram's horn.
Plus, I
would be
mean, the
awesome.
lung power it takes to really probably push it through. We just don't practice,
I don't
you
have
know.
a clue.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
It's just like I say, I think that's going to be
you
a
can't
wannabe
really
trend.
fault that pastor just because he was caught unawares. And we're coming from a standpoint if we heard about
Not
it from
pointing
hours
fingers.
ago.
I'm just saying that
but
this
for the
could happen
future.
again.
But I would recommend that they do something like that. They get together and they pray for the people. And you don't even have to be super loud about it because they're yelling. You don't have to yell.
No, you don't. Like I said, if you're just praying in the spirit, people are going to buckle. People are going to buckle.
If the faith is there,
That's to say, if the Lord is there.
is the faith
Yes.
there though anymore?
If the Lord is there. And that's what I was looking at the church. They're just sitting there in their chairs. And the guy's making fun of them for having their comfortable life and their coffees and all that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
He didn't seem like he was hurting too bad either, though. I mean, you had a jacket.
on the
You had
job.
a cell phone.
he's getting paid to be there.
You have a beard and hair, which means you have hair care products and soap and all that stuff. I mean, so
Whether you use them or not. Is
so
the thing.
what kind of a lifestyle are you living under a bridge because your fellow man doesn't have a house? Is that what you're doing? You're sacrificing like Gandhi did? I mean, because Gandhi
He's-
fasted for like freaking 40 years for the underprivileged.
Yeah,
so.
he's a known protester. They've got a bunch of footage
Yeah,
all over the
I
place.
mean,
He's
so
traveling.
I don't have time for
protesting.
hypocrites.
I don't. I'm done with it. It's just like I say. This is going to be a trending thing. They're attacking people wherever they see them in the streets now.
The real shocker is that journalist guy.
Yeah, I didn't even want
That's
to
a
use his
shocker.
name because I just don't even. I just like don't even care. But the fact that he's trying to he bailed on them so fast. He's like, oh, I had nothing to do with them. I was just filming them and journalizing because I'm a journalizer. You know,
Journalizer.
and he was so useless. Like, but he knew what they
Yeah.
were doing. He got a full readout of what they're doing by talking to them before.
Problem is, he doesn't work for CNN anymore, so he has nothing to get fired from.
no, but they're saying
I don't think
they're
he's in it.
prosecuting him.
I don't think he even has a show. Or
he has a
anything.
YouTube channel that he does.
Yeah, but like he's
stuff.
not an affiliated show or network show or anything.
He's
so.
nothing. He's on his own.
But-
We all thought he was gone. Like gone. Like you.
I haven't heard of him in a long time.
Yeah.
Of course, I haven't been. So I've cut off all TV kind of thing. So
Yeah, I don't. The only reason I knew this was because I was putting together. A
yeah, I didn't
Lego
even hear
set.
about it till you texted me.
Yeah, I was putting together a Lego set and it just rolled over on my YouTube. I think Timcast or Benny was talking about it. And I was like, what? And so then I looked into it a little bit more and it was just like, okay. So this is the new trend, I guess, so to speak. But
Well, I hope it takes off. I hope that more
Yes.
churches get persecuted and God has more chances to reveal
the churches will
himself.
fill up. That Minnesota church will probably fill up.
I mean, it's a nice test to see if the people in your church are faithful or not.
Yeah.
To the cause.
Yeah.
Especially if people are like, I'm too scared to go. It's like, well, that means you don't want to be here.
Yeah.
If you're too scared to come back, I don't want you. You're weak.
Yeah. I mean, what do you, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's,
I understand. I don't want to bring my kids here or whatever, but
I fully comprehend the concept of the garbage churches in America. Every time I hear it or see it, I'm like, yeah, I can get on board with that. We used to be a lot stronger. Now we're more open to the concepts that make everybody okay with us. You know.
so we have about 4,000 churches closing per
Yes.
year and about 3,000 churches starting per year. But the success rate
Okay.
of those 3,000 churches is less than 40%.
I had seen different numbers, but yeah,
They can't go 4 years.
the Muslims
4
are
years
buying.
is about the average that they stay open and then they close.
Yeah, the Muslims are buying all the churches that they can, and they're turning them into mosques. Yeah,
So, right. It's better when our church is underground anyway.
it is better.
Christianity thrives under persecution.
Yeah.
You cannot have Christianity with comfortable, lazy
Yes.
Christians.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It's funny because when that guy's yelling at him and about them, you're sitting all comfy, cozy, and your coffee's on. I'm like, he's kind of right a little bit.
Yeah,
You
you ain't wrong.
Because I remember hunting for so long for a church that just didn't have a coffee bar. And I was like, this is impossible.
Yeah, I do like the coffee bar though, because most of the time that money goes to missions, and it's the only time you're going to get missions money out of your people.
That's true.
It's hard enough to get tithe out of them. It's another thing to say, hey, if you can give 10% of your pay to the church to do these things, and most churches are open with their finances about where the money goes.
Yeah.
But to say on top of that, anything else you give goes to missions to fund our missionaries, and churches give very little to missionaries. And I'm not going to get on for a tangent. On
It's one of those things.
There's a thing I have about denominations that steal money from missions in order to have a board.
A movie theater.
Well, no, it's like I talked to a pastor who was pastoring for the Church of God. His church was raising a lot of money for missions. They were actually foregoing tithe because the church was paid for. He wasn't collecting a salary, so we just needed enough to keep the lights on, basically. And he said it was a smaller church. It wasn't real large. He said he only had about 80 people. He said, but there was 2 missionary families that they really wanted to support to get a good foothold into a new area that didn't have any kind of support. So they're raising a lot of money for missions instead of just sending tithe. They sent it off to the Church of God or whatever, and when he talked to the people, they had only received a fraction of what this church raised.
Sounds about right there.
Yeah, so he goes to the board and says, hey, what's going on? He's like, well, we got to pay for this facility. We got to pay for these people here, the administration for the missions department. He goes, excuse me? He's like, we raised $3,600 for this family, and they only got $1,700 of it?
Wow.
You know what $1,700 does for them? Nothing.
Golly.
And that's for 2 families. This is a small church, right? 80 people? That's a lot of $3,600 a lot of money.
That's a ton of money.
So, and they even gave him a little plaque for mission fund because he, here, you guys did great on your church raised so much for missions, and they gave him a little plaque that was like highest grossing missions raised and whatever. He's like, yeah, I hung it on the wall for a couple of months until I found out how much money they actually got. And he said, I threw that thing in the trash.
How much did that thing cost?
The following year, they raised 0 money for missions. And they came in and said, hey, you guys didn't raise any money for missions at all. He goes, oh, yeah, we did. We actually did more than we did last year. He said, but I didn't send it to you.
Nope. That's right. 1,000%.
Yeah, that pastor was, I don't know if I can say his name. I don't know if I should say his name. He's not a pastor anymore. I don't know, but.
Yeah, it's
he was a cool dude. Worked with him for about a year. He was a retired pastor, but he and I hate that about.
Because our last church was hardcore. Like I've always done my best to be a tither because I knew that I would have a problem with money and it would just take over. And so but when I went to the last church that we had gone to, they were hardcore missions, and they would push it. And they had a ton of 23 missionaries that they had sponsored, and it's like $100 a month, each one of them, kind of thing. And that was an AG church, so I think they're a little bit better with it, but I doubt that they are. Yeah.
No, I mean, who knows?
They're still gonna.
It goes by districts, so and if somebody got a district in one area, it's different than a different district.
I guess it puts them under an umbrella of protection if they're under an organization, so they can get funds and they can get certain situations, but. I mean, they just Venmo these people money.
Well, I understand having a pool of money that you decide who it goes to because you have a better understanding about the missionary families because you work in a missionary department.
Yeah.
Like I work in missions for Assemblies of God, and we have thousands of missionary families that we support. Mm-hmm. You're supporting 25 of those.
Yeah.
So is everybody else. But you don't know about the rest of them, and we know who needs more money.
Right.
I get that.
I can see that.
But don't take half the money.
But that's extra missions money and stuff coming in. If I say I'm giving this family $100, then you should be taking more than 10% of that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have enough money coming in where you guys are going to live fine. You need a table and a computer, a laptop.
Yeah.
I mean, a 40-year-old laptop still works. Come on.
There is some churches or some affiliations denominations that assign missionaries to a church, and you have no choice but to fund them. But your funding goes directly to them. So they don't have the missions department.
Yeah.
They say, we have missionaries that we sent out. This church sent out these missionaries. This church sent out these missionaries. They support them. Nobody else supports them, just those churches.
Okay.
And then if there's more need, whatever, they can assign more churches to those families. And some, I think the International Holiness Pentecostal Association does it that way, I think.
I just hope like the Samaritan's Purse is still as solid as it used to be.
No idea.
Yeah, I haven't
It's
looked
just so
into
hard to
it.
tell
I don't.
nowadays.
Yeah, you would never know. I watched another Wretched video the other day, and he was just talking about all the pastors and all of the biblical scholarly types that are just falling like crazy, and they're elderly ones that are falling that have been. And it's just so hard to watch. I'm like, I can't watch. I'll look at a new video that pops up on YouTube, and it's like some religious based type thing. I'm like, I am not gonna sit there and decipher whether or not I'm gonna believe whatever's coming out of your mouth, because I have to look up things that I've never considered or thought of before.
Yeah.
Because you're warping, scripture to based on what you want to deal. And one of these days, you and I will go through and talk about hell. I did not want to bring up the Kirk Cameron hell situation that he did.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, you haven't seen that one. So I need to show you that video at least. He did a really awesome. So
I don't even know what that guy looks like.
he looks great. He still looks great.
I hear a lot about him, but I couldn't
he's-
spot him in a crowd.
He has a really awesome, simple podcast where him and his son is his maybe producer, I guess, but his son kind of runs the background. And they went through a deal and they talked about hell and what they perceived of it. And he was looking for, his son was like, I didn't find any scripture that states that God can't destroy a spirit. So, and I don't have the words in front of me because I wasn't planning on talking about this, but we'll talk about it. We'll bring it up, I guess. There's one thing in the whole, I disagreed with it, of course, but it's not like the Christian podcasters got so excited. Oh, we have something to talk about now. Cameron done screwed up. That kind of a thing. 'Cause he was saying that you'd be in hell for a certain amount of time, then you're dead, you disappear, you're gone, kind of thing. It's I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's called...
well, the reason why he says that is because it says it in Revelation.
He has a ton of little verses that he goes through. There is one part of the podcast where he said something that was like, "Oh, you messed up, Cameron," and it really hit me deep. Like it was like,
Well, you want to wait till
I have
later?
to show it to you. We'll wait till later. I'll show you.
I'll just
Because
say,
I didn't want to bring
just
it
a
up.
small blip in Revelations.
And I know what
through
scripture you're
chapters
talking
18
to.
or 21.
Yeah, he does refer to
He
that.
throws Hades into the lake of fire. He
Yes.
throws Satan, his angels. He throws hell and the grave all into the lake of fire.
I don't remember if Cameron brought that one up, but he
So,
may have.
Yeah, if you are technically in hell, if that's a thing, it wouldn't be forever because God does destroy it.
But it only just states that it is eternal. That's the whole conflict of the
Well,
back and forth.
The problem is a lot of it is not eternal. It's actually forever. It doesn't say eternal. It says forever. Some translations make it eternal, but like I said, we know more about ancient Hebrew now than we did in Jesus' day.
See, this is the stuff that we have to go through and look up then.
Forever doesn't mean forever in Hebrew. Forever means until it's done. And they use that instance when a man says to his woman, "I will love you forever." It's not true. He can't love her forever. Eventually, he's going to die.
Right.
Or she will die. But he's not going to be able to love her forever. But what he means is, I will love you continuously until I can no longer do it.
I have to look that
Eternal means, in ancient Hebrew, eternal means you always have been and always will be. It never began and it'll never cease. That's eternal in Hebrew. So Hades is not eternal. It's forever. It's there until it's done. And the end of it is when it gets cast into the lake of fire, and it says to be destroyed. And what destroyed means it's no longer there.
And that is where the worm does not die.
That's Hades. So that's hell, where they writhe and torment and they gnash their teeth and all that stuff. And then at the very end, after judgment, God casts the devil, his angels, death, hell, and the grave all get cast into the lake of fire.
Right.
So
I have to look up that forever thing now.
Yeah, it's very, again, it's semantics, and it doesn't really matter.
All I know is, and I know we'll repeat all of this because we will talk about it. We'll come up with it because it's a very, it's a topic that I see people dodging and running away from, and you should not be, because for every time that Jesus mentioned heaven, he mentioned hell twice.
well,
was
the
important
word he
to him.
used for hell wasn't hell, though. It was
He was talking about it.
Gehenna.
No, he was talking about hell. For every time he
Again,
mentioned heaven,
semantics.
he was talking about hell
This
twice.
This is going to be a discussion that we'd have to have a different time with.
No, it
actual.
won't be. Yeah, I have a whole blurb of thingy that I put.
Just know you don't want to go there. It sucks to be there.
Hey, that was
Whether it really is eternal and it never ends, you still don't want to be there, even if it's for a short time.
Yeah, I mean,
wouldn't want to be there.
Um,
Yeah, but the thing of it is,
you have to watch
Christian-
the video though and see where he's coming from and see if you catch the area there that really gripped it. It was like, oh
yeah, it's send me a link to it. I'll watch it.
yeah, it's everywhere. Like I said, all the Christian podcasters were like so excited because they had something to talk about.
We're never all going to get it right. You
No,
can
and that
only
was the
be
thing.
as right
Like
as you
it
think
wasn't
you are.
like and it's funny because they all started out, well, you still love him. He's great. He's wonderful. He's a brother of the Lord. And I'm like, just stop talking now. Then you just need to walk away. You got to stop talking.
So what part disturbed you?
You literally have to watch it.
Oh,
I can't.
okay.
Yeah,
I
like
gotcha.
I couldn't even. Yeah,
I got you.
and I only watched it the one time. It's pretty long. It's like 45 minutes maybe.
It's I find that going back to our original conversation.
That's what we need to do.
Oh,
We need to go back to our original conversation.
I think I told you the story before.
Mm.
And I can't remember the name of the pastor. He was pretty famous. He wasn't Benjamin Franklin, Franklin Graham, or not Franklin. What is Franklin Graham's father's name?
Oh,
Benjamin Graham. Why am I drawing a blank?
wow, that is so crazy.
Benny.
Keep going.
Was it Benjamin Graham?
No, it's
Sweet Crusade. Billy Graham.
Billy Graham.
Sorry.
Yeah. Wow.
Sorry, Billy. I know you're up there in heaven just saying, you can't remember my name.
Forgotten already?
Actually, he was probably one of the more humble guys. He probably wouldn't have cared.
Yeah,
But
he's not going to care.
Billy Graham, it wasn't Billy Graham, but it was somebody along his like, where he was pretty well known. He was in China when the Berlin Wall fell. And he was praying these underground pastors. He was teaching them the Bible because they didn't have any access to Bibles and stuff or teachings. And so he'd go over there and teach the underground church and train pastors up and how to lead congregations and things like that. And he was over a group of pastors, and this guy was translating for him. Another Chinese pastor was translating for this American preacher. And he was praying, thanking God for the fall of the Berlin Wall and about how the gospel was going to start spreading. And he prayed that China would one day be like America and have freedom of religion and, gospel grow. And he noticed that the pastor wasn't translating for him. He goes, did you understand what I said? He goes, yeah, I don't want to pray it. And he goes, you don't want to pray that? He goes, no, I don't want our church to be like your church. He said, and he's like, basically he was telling him, he's like, our church is strong because we're persecuted. Your church is weak because you're not.
Yeah.
Because earlier in that day, the pastor was telling him about another pastor in a church that a big mega church I got busted for embezzling and fornication inside the church. And that Chinese pastor was appalled, that somebody would do that. And it wasn't that somebody would, and the Chinese pastor was more along the lines offended, not because somebody who says they're a Christian and leads a Christian congregation would do something like that. He was appalled because that pastor had no fear of the Lord.
Mm.
He goes, he doesn't fear God?
Wow.
And I was like, so persecution in the American church?
It was
Please.
very, very needed. Yeah.
Please. I mean, I won't be there because I don't go to church very often.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's good for you, not for me.